What up, YouTube homies? This is streaming on Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. Super excited to be here. I'm currently in a lovely hotel here in Irvine, California. It is the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to all my American friends. Feeling extra free, especially as a Canadian here. So I wanted to go live today and answer a bunch of your questions. So if you're tuning in live, you can ask your questions below, and I'll get to them. I've got quite a list of questions to go through here, but I figured I'd just do a live. It's been a little while. I've been kind of shadow banned to all hell on Instagram, so I'm kind of taking a break. Hopefully that'll reset, and I'm just sticking with YouTube and Twitter Periscope right now. So welcome to the Q&A. If you have any questions about astrology, trauma, sacred sexuality, personal development, spirituality, you can drop them below. Make sure you smash the like button if you're watching on YouTube or Periscope. You can share it on Twitter, and you can also share it on YouTube. And subscribe if you haven't already. I'm at 499 subscribers. Let's get to 500 and then eventually 1,000. So without further ado, I cheers you all wherever you are in America. And let's get the Q&A beginning. All right. So first question. How would you describe someone with both sun and moon at fall? My sun is in Libra, 4th house, Scorpio moon, 5th house, and Cancer rising. All right, so in astrology, when a planet is at fall, it is in its kind of the weakest spot, okay? So if you have the sun in Libra or you have the moon in Scorpio, you have your luminaries at fall. I have my sun in Aries, which means it's exalted, meaning it's the best place for the sun. Debatably, besides Leo, but some even ancient astrologers like Ptolemy said that exaltations are actually, and Valens actually said this too, exaltations are better than domicile. Domicile just means it's home sign, it's rulership. So when you have both your luminaries at fall, aka they're both in very weak positions, what this means is this can be a challenging placement. Scorpio moons have a hard time because the moon wants to express emotions, right? And Scorpio wants to hide. Scorpio wants to kind of keep it low key. So there's this fight that goes on when you have planets in fall. I have Saturn in fall. I have Venus is in detriment. So I've got some planets there as well. And all this means is that there's going to be some extra challenges. Now, as a Cancer rising, your moon means a lot to you, because Cancer risings means your chart ruler is the moon. So I would highly recommend, really working with the lunar energies. And when you notice the desire to shut down, if you're a Scorpio moon and you notice the desire to shut down comes up, then I highly, highly recommend you work through that. You open up. You allow yourself to open up and be vulnerable. Vulnerability is one of the biggest challenges and also gifts that you can give to others as a Scorpio moon. As a Libra sun, it's really about learning how to shine. Really learning how to shine in your own light, because Libra suns are naturally, overgivers. You don't want to constantly be giving and not allowing yourself to receive. All right? There's a lot of codependency type of dynamic with Libra suns and Scorpio moons as well. You really want to be mindful of how these tendencies play out, because all in all, when placements are at fall, or what's called in detriment in astrology, they're in their weak spot. So you want to kind of utilize the strengths of that, and every sign has strengths. If you're getting into astrology, or if you're very familiar, then you know this, that all signs have strengths and weaknesses, and it's all about what you rise into. All right, what you rise into. And if you're a Cancer rising, like this person asking the question was, it's about rising into your moon sign and learning how to truly embrace the vulnerability that comes with Scorpio. Okay, so that's kind of what I have to say on that. I mean, there's a lot that I could say. I can go into a lot of details. Scorpio moons like to shut down when they should be opening up, because it's their natural tendency. Our moons also are conditioning, aka what we just tend to go back to and repeat cyclically over and over again. So we want to kind of transcend our moon sign, step into our ascendant or our rising sign, and utilize our sun as the vehicle to push us towards our ascension process, which is what our rising sign teaches us. All right, next question. The next one's an astrology one, but I'll kind of go back and forth to a few different spots. What's a good one? Okay, I'm a male, 29 years old, interested in sacred sexuality, tantra. Where do I begin learning about it? Any resources? So, there's a lot of resources out there. Not all of them are good resources when it comes to learning about conscious sexuality. I would highly recommend checking out Mantak Chia's work. He is one of my mentors and has helped me out a lot along my journey. Taoist sexuality is a good place to begin. For Tantra, I highly, highly recommend this book called The Heart of Tantric Sex by Diana Richardson. And Tantra by Osho is another great book. Yeah, so I would recommend starting with reading, and also just really utilizing your breath when you're making love or when you're dealing with your sexual energy. Because a lot of times, what we want to do when we have that built up sexual tension or energy is we want to expel it as quickly as we possibly can, and that's not ideal. It's just not ideal because when you expel your sexual energy, you're wasting your life force. You're wasting your life force. You want to be cultivating your life force. You want to be generating your life force. You want to be increasing your life force. You don't want to just be expelling it, expending it. You want to be increasing it constantly. So if you're someone who is, when you have a lot of sexual energy, you want to expel it right away, or you're not in control of it, then utilize the breath and utilize mindfulness to really say, okay, what can I do with this energy? Why does it have to be this like bust or this orgasm outward? Why can't it be a kind of inward witnessing of the sexuality? Sexual tension is great. Being horny is great. It brings you creativity. So it's not always about just releasing like society tells us to, whether it's through porn, masturbation, sex. It really is about learning how to flow with your sexual energy and utilize your sexual energy to cultivate it more and more and more. If you have questions, like I said, if you're watching live, make sure you drop them below. Kind of answering quite a variety of questions now. So resources I'd recommend is The Multi-Orgasmic Man by Mantak Chia, Multi-Orgasmic Couple, Cultivating Sexual Energy, and like I said, Tantra by Osho, Heart of Tantric Sex by Diana Richardson. These are all great places to start. I also have a sexual mastery course, which is for men. So if you're a man who wants to learn how to become multi-orgasmic, last for hours and hours and hours during sex, and overcome, some of the conditions that we suffer with, like ED and premature ejaculation, then I highly recommend you check out my sexual mastery course. It is in, if you go to iamwillnichols.com, it's in the link below in the video if you're watching on YouTube. And you can go check that out. I've had a lot of amazing results given to men who've gone through the program. So you can be my next case study. Happy 4th of July to everybody, by the way. All right, one of the questions. Are you with the Leo King? When will I see you guys together? So David and I, you'll probably see me tomorrow on Deep Love Tarot. If you follow the Leo King, if you don't already, go check him out on YouTube at the Leo King and on Instagram and Facebook. And go check out highvibe.tv. It's an amazing, amazing app with daily horoscopes, dozens of daily horoscopes for all signs, for your individual rising sign and sun sign. And there's daily tarot readings, there's daily health astrology. There's lots of amazing stuff on the app, highvibe.tv. Highly recommend it. So yeah, we'll be hanging out this week, making some content this week. So expect a little appearance probably on Deep Love Tarot tomorrow, and then we're working on some magic. So stay tuned for that. David's a good friend, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with him. All right, so we got rid of this one. Okay, this one's a deep one, so we'll just go into it. I appreciate the vulnerability that you guys share with me in the Q&As. I get them from the DMs. Some email Q&A. I'm actually going to put a feature on my website where you can actually just ask me a Q&A at any time, and then I'll kind of collect them and bring them for lives like this, because I think it's fun and a lot of people like this. So, okay, I was sexually abused as a young child, on and off for 2+ years, between 7 and 9 years old. I tend to shut down when my partner and I have sex for prolonged periods of time. How do I work through my trauma so I can enjoy my life more? I'm guessing your sex life, but also your regular life. Okay, so first of all, I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, it's a common place to for women to be sexually abused. It's like 1 in 3 women have been sexually abused in some way, whether it's taken advantage of, or raped, or molested, or whatever. It's terrible, and I feel like a part of the work that I'm doing is helping that by improving the men and by improving how we relate to women and vice versa. So just the fact that you're here and you're asking this question is amazing, and that you're clearly looking to do the work, which is good. So how do you work through your trauma? Well, it starts with awareness. It starts with being aware of the triggers. So when you're getting intimate with someone, if you've been sexually abused, or you've been abused really in any way, we have trigger mechanisms that are built within our subconscious mind. And when those trigger mechanisms come out, they allow us to have a signal. And that signal shows us where we feel unsafe, where we feel disassociating. Okay? And those signals, those triggers, are our greatest gifts. And I want you all to understand this. Our trauma triggers are our greatest gifts, because they give us deeper insight into ourselves, our soul, and how we can truly become more whole. So when a trigger comes up, when you notice yourself shut down, a lot of people, if you've been sexually abused, you notice the shutdown begins when you start really opening up to your partner. And sometimes it's not in the beginning of intercourse. Most of the time it's when we start getting really deep, because most of us, because we're not able to make love for long periods of time, we're unable to reach these higher points of intimacy. And when we get past the 20 to 30 minute mark in intercourse, we start to really open our hearts. We start to really expand ourselves into deep sexual ecstasy. And that, for someone who's been traumatized sexually, can be very, very challenging to overcome, because you're forcing yourself to be vulnerable. You're forcing yourself open. So when these triggers come up, don't run away. This is very, very important. Just witness it. Witness it. Witness it. Observe it. Observe it how it is. So when you observe triggers, instead of reacting to triggers like most of us do, most of us react to triggers, we shame ourselves, we judge ourselves, we're like, oh, why am I going through this again? Oh my God, oh my God. So instead of doing that, when a trigger comes up for you, and this is across all planes. Obviously, I'm talking to this person who submitted this question about sexual abuse, but this occurs for all forms of abuse, any form of trauma. When a trigger comes up, you're given an opportunity to overcome that, deepen your connection with your mind and your body, deepen your connection with your partner if you're engaged with a partner in the moment, and most importantly, heal and become whole. So it all starts with awareness. You have to witness. You have to get out of the I'm a victim state, I'm unsafe, I'm fearful. You have to get into a state where you start self-soothing. Okay, this is called self-soothing or self-regulating the nervous system. When we self-regulate, we calm our triggers down. We don't judge ourselves, because judging triggers us more. We calm our triggers down. We witness it. We say, I love you to ourselves. We hold ourselves. And hopefully we have a loving partner, if we're with a partner when this is happening, that can hold us and hold space for us to go through this. No partner can do the work for you, but they can hold the space for you to do the work for yourself. So if that's you, if you're you're noticing the triggers are coming up for you, then witness it, be with it, allow it, and observe it. Say, where is this coming from? Why is this coming up? Question it. Don't identify with it. The thing that we do right away is, oh, I'm not good at sex. If a trigger comes up in sexuality, or oh, I'm anxious. I'm just so anxious. I can't deal with this anxiety, or I'm depressed. We like to throw labels on ourselves. We judge ourselves when our trauma triggers come up, and we can't judge ourselves. We have to witness it. Okay, this is the fundamental first step of trauma, is you have to witness it. You have to get out of the identifier where I'm the victim, and you have to get into the state where I am whole, I am complete, I am aware, I am conscious, I am here. Okay? And when we do that, life gets better, because then we can actually now change our behaviors. Because when we're a witness, we're now able to say, okay, I recognize this is my tendency. This is what I want to do. But I'm consciously going to say, no. I'm going to do something different. So if your tendency is to shut down, and avoid intimacy, avoid further intimacy, or stop having sex with your partner. If again, this is all in the context of sexual trauma, so that's why I'm saying this. But if your tendency is to shut down, then do the opposite. It's going to be challenging at first, but open up. Okay, you can take a break. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to keep going through uncomfortable situations, but a lot of times the discomfort is the doorway into true healing. So we have to move through that discomfort. Trauma work is not fun. If it was fun, everybody would do it, right? Trauma work's not fun. It's not fun. But it's necessary because it gets us to a place where we feel good. And so it's like, you know, do you want to go through temporary discomfort in order to experience true comfort, safety, and security? I know I do. Or do you want to stay in the little comfort zone, not pushing through your discomfort, and then constantly be, you know, barricaded in this box by the realms of your existence, those realms being the triggers? It's like, as soon as I hit the door, you know, it's kind of like an electric portal almost that we go through. That's what our trauma triggers are. And we're going to get shocked. You know, most people just get boop on them and they stay back in their little small shell. Okay? But the courageous folk, the folk who can disconnect from being the victim and instead say, I am empowered, I want to feel safe, I want to feel vulnerable, I want to heal, I want to be whole. Instead of saying, you know, I am anxious, I am a victim, blah, 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 blah. You say, I want to feel whole, I want to do better, I want to be better, I want to be more whole. And if that's you, then you push through and you will get shocked. Maybe you'll get fried, maybe you'll get boiled or you're burnt or whatever. But when you push through, then life gets better. And that's what it's all about. It's not about staying in your box surrounded by the electric fence, scared of getting shocked. Sometimes we have to get shocked in order for us to create a 180 paradigm and bring us out of that victim state and into a state of empowerment. So 3-step quick process to really begin working through your trauma. And seek out help, please, guys. And, you know, find someone that you trust. You know, I'm not a huge advocate for therapy, to be honest. Just because I've seen what therapy's done to people, it keeps them in that victim state, and it's very, very unfortunate. Now, I am a big advocate for good therapy. There's very rare cases of this, but there are some, and you know, find them. I do trauma work as well and one-on-one coaching to work through some of this stuff. So if you need help, you know, reach out. But get help because it'll accelerate you. Right? Find someone that works through subconscious blocks, trauma triggers, trauma work, all that stuff. Very, very important. Okay? Because the longer we stay trying to do it all by ourselves, the more we'll be a victim, right? We want to be able to overcome ourselves and our tendencies, right? So, 3-step process. Awareness, right? We have to be aware. And then we have to remove ourselves from victimization. That's step 2. That's where we first get into the witness seat. We're aware. Oh, I'm triggered. Okay, number 2 is I'm not a victim here. I can push through this. I can make a different choice. And then number 3, step 3 is taking an action towards what we fear. Because when we do that, we push ourselves and we allow ourselves to really experience true healing. All right? So I hope that helps. Like I said, if you need, you know, resources or help, reach out. All right. What's going on with this Tsquare? I feel like my world is stopping and ending. So right now, for those who don't know, we have a beautiful Tsquare. I am very... I'm somewhat joking when I say beautiful. It's challenging, especially for fixed signs, between Saturn, Uranus, and Venus and Mars in Leo. So what a T-square means, especially a fixed T-square with this kind of T-square, is it's really pushing us to move beyond our limitations, our boundaries. That's that which has been keeping us stuck. Uranus is the change maker, rapid change. Mars is action, focus, drive, inspiration. Venus is, you know, magnetism, attraction, prosperity, money, resources. And Saturn is boundaries and restrictions. So when you put these guys together in a T-square, we experience this radical shift to how we've been doing things. You know, a lot of us are realizing that how we've been doing things is not how we should be doing things. That's what this T-square is bringing up for a lot of us. It's like, what are the ways that we should probably change what we've been doing, right? In what ways should we change, and in what ways should we continue to adapt and create new habits? This is about long-term shifts too. So a lot of these, the reason that fixed T-scores are very uncomfortable is because the change happens slowly, and that process is usually very rigid. You know, very rigid. Honestly, it's like it can be painful. It can be painful because it's like when we build up these habits of doing something for so long, we can really, we can really feel a lot of pain towards it, because it's like, it's a lot easier to change something that we just started. It's a lot more challenging to change something that we've been doing for a long time. So that's what this fixed square is really bringing up. It's showing us, where are our boundaries? Where do we set boundaries for ourselves, and maybe where do we need to set more boundaries? And Mars and Venus are really showing us, how can we really step into our true light? How can we push forward into a new light? And Uranus is causing that radicalization of change and shifts. And this is for the long term. Uranus and Taurus, this is about setting the foundations, resources, opportunities, etc. for all that we are desiring. Okay, so set up those foundations. Very, very, very important. Okay. All right. Let's see what other questions we have. We're sent in. Any advice going through my Saturn return? 12th house Aquarius. Hey, 12th house Aquarius. Pisces rising. Represent. Cancer, Sun, Capricorn, Moon. Oh. So Saturn returns are a time of real maturity for us. So if you're going through your Saturn return, 12th house, that's crazy. Wow. I've got Jupiter in the 12th house as my chart ruler, so I feel you. And, I got a lot of friends that have dominant 12th house energy. David Palmer, 12th house Sun. So Saturn return in Aquarius, I have to say, Saturn return in Capricorn and Aquarius can be the most intense, but also the most rewarding, because Saturn's at home there, right? Saturn's at home. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good to have your Saturn return in Aquarius or Capricorn. However, Saturn returns can be challenging, especially if we haven't been doing the work. If we haven't been showing up for ourselves in the way that we should, then it can be extra challenging for us to go through. Because Saturn comes in and says, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? And if you're not, then you know what to do, right? So Saturn returns, if you're going through your Saturn return, or you just went through your Saturn return, or you're about to go through your Saturn return, especially if you have Saturn in Aquarius, this is about really building out the true systems for you to live your life and be an innovator. Saturn in Aquarius, this is innovation. This is building out conscious systems for you to truly innovate and create your own path as a visionary. Saturn in Aquarius is the visionary. Jupiter in Aquarius is a visionary. Sun in Aquarius is the visionary. Aquarius rising the visionary. This is a very, very visionary placement. So especially in the 12th house, this is really about surrender. This is about really learning about surrender and learning that you're not always in control. You're not always in control. That's one of the biggest 12th house themes that we have to learn as 12th housers is you're not always in control. And in fact, most of the time when you think you're in control, you're not in control. So you have to show up for yourself. You have to really expand your horizons with who you are and what you are. And with Saturn in the 12th house, it's really about building up the spiritual self, which is learning how to surrender to all the old beliefs, the paradigms, the limitations that you put on yourself, and learning how to, in a sense, transcend that. This is a very, you're a spiritual leader in many regards. And it's about building out the right systems to allow you as a visionary to come forth in this world and create just like you were born to be, right? Pisces rising too, like you're born to be a visionary. So yeah. All right, what else? What other questions we got? How do you personally deal with anxiety? Do you struggle with? So I used to struggle very bad with anxiety, especially when I was in high school. It was really bad to the point where I wanted to seek out help. I went to a psychologist, and that was the last time I went to the medical system for help, because I went into, this is my little background story of my experience with psychologists in the medical institution when it comes to mental health. I go for a 45-minute consultation. I'm telling this guy all my problems. I'm telling him everything that's stressing me out and how I'm getting panic attacks and all this stuff. 45 minutes. This guy's typing the entire time on a computer with his back to me the entire time, slugging Red Bulls. I shit you not. This psychologist was nuts. And after he chugs his second or third Red Bull and finishes the consultation, he says, all right, so we got two options here, Will. First option is I can refer you to another psychologist and you can be, doing regular sessions. Or the second option is I can prescribe you Prozac right now, and we can part our ways. And I was like, that's your solution for anxiety? I was just starting to become conscious and stuff, starting to get into meditation, not really seriously or anything, spirituality, that type of thing. And I'm like, that's your solution? Put me on drugs or refer me to someone else? What the hell was I doing here? So, ended up going for frozen yogurt with my mom. And that was, I have to say, that was more, getting froyo was more therapeutic than sitting in this guy's dungeon of an office watching him slug Red Bulls. So that was my background experience. But then I have to say yoga, meditation, and really stepping into who I truly am helped me the most with anxiety. Now, people can be doing all that and still suffer from anxiety. So how do we work through that? I definitely have anxious moments. I never identify ever as someone who has anxiety or is anxious. I have moments where anxiety arises, of course, but then I have the tools built in, both subconsciously and consciously, to be able to work through that right away. One of the tools that I use is tapping, which is what I do, what I help people when it comes to trauma work in my sessions. So tapping is a great way of doing that. Breath work, breath of fire, is absolutely great for clearing the mind and all of that. Breath of fire, for those who don't know, Kundalini, very, very simple. You just sit in a lotus position, and it's just through the nose, in through the nose, out through the nose, while pumping the navel in and out. Doing that for 3 minutes minimum. You'll watch your anxiety melt away. 100%. Wim Hof helps with that as well. So I have lots of tools, writing can help. There's lots of tools to help with anxiety. So if you're in that if you're struggling with that, I recommend you find what works for you, because there's not a one and done. There's lots of things that work very effectively. And if you tried any one of them, they'd work. It's just about what you enjoy doing and what is easiest for you. For me, it's usually breath work. It's going for a nice walk and looking out and feeling gratitude, because you can't feel anxious and grateful at the same time. You just can't. So I like to shift my focus from anxiousness to gratitude, and the moment that I do that, I feel at ease, right? Because that's what we want. We want to feel at ease. And when we're anxious, we can't feel at ease, right? Because we're so stressed out. So breath of fire usually works for me. Breath work, meditation, and walking meditation. Grounding, getting sunlight on my skin, going on a barefoot walk through the forest or like a nice trail, and just looking at everything in nature and feeling gratitude towards it. Just doing like an observational gratitude exercise where you just walk barefoot, getting some sunlight, no sunglasses, no nothing. Get it on your bare skin if you can, as close to naked as you can, because the more sunlight you get, the better you'll feel. And as you do this, you're just looking at everything and you're feeling grateful for it. It's like, wow, I'm so grateful for that beautiful towel that I have covering my mirror. I'm so grateful for my flip-flops that allow me to walk to the pool without having to use my feet. I'm so grateful for this lovely treat of whiskey that I'm enjoying on this 4th of July. You know, it's like, just find gratitude for everything that you can see, and the more you do that, you'll suck yourself out of that void that is anxiousness. So when we're overstressed, when we're burnt out, when we're anxious, it's because we're distracted with the things that we seemingly can't control. So instead of focusing on all those things that are going wrong, focus on all the things that are going right. And that's what gratitude practice does. This is part of what I teach in my Unfuck Your Mind program, to help you overcome anxiety and stress, because this is a very, very important thing. And also self-soothing. Learning how to regulate your nervous system. When you can activate your parasympathetic nervous system, get you into a state of relaxation and rest and repair instead of fight or flight, which is what happens when our cortisol's running. We're all stressed, we're anxious, everything's going wrong. We can get into that state of relaxation and calm ourselves, remove our cortisol, increase the serotonin, relax the brain, relax the muscles, relax the jaw, relax the body. Life gets better. So that's what I recommend. That's what works for me, and that's what seems to work very well for my clients. Can trauma be seen from astrology? I saw you posted that poll on Twitter. Looking forward to your thread. Yeah, so I posted a poll on Twitter just asking what the thread was. But yeah, absolutely, trauma can be seen from astrology. A lot of astrologers get into arguments about this, but Jeff Wolf Green talked about this. Evolutionary Astrology talks about this. Mark Jones, who's one of my teachers for evolutionary astrology and astrological trauma work, has 4 courses about this that I've taken, and they're amazing. So you can absolutely see trauma indicators and get a very, very clear idea of what went wrong. And you'll find that oftentimes it's very, very literal. It's not often metaphorical when it comes to the astrology of trauma. So some of the trauma indicators usually mean planets in Aquarius, Uranus, any hard aspects to Uranus, like quincunxes, squares, semi-squares, oppositions, all that. Malefic squares as well, or malefic aspects in any way. Really anything aspecting Uranus. Squares to the nodes, any negative aspects to Pluto, Chiron. All these are trauma indicators and can show you a lot about your trauma. And like I said, it's very often pretty literal, to the point where it's kind of scary. Like, I was just blown away the first time I started learning about this. So absolutely, trauma can be seen from the natal chart. 12th house, 8th house can be indicators as well, trauma. 4th house too. Yep, Saturn, Aquarius, Neptune, Pluto. These are all, you can find trauma through all these avenues. So absolutely, trauma can be seen from the natal chart. That's part of what I specialize in when it comes to astrology, is helping you identify and overcome your trauma via astrology. You can book readings with me, by the way, by going to IamWillNichols.com, clicking on book a consultation, then go through that. So yeah, absolutely, you can see trauma from astrology. I'll do a whole thread on it on Twitter very soon. Still building that out, actually. Maybe I'll work on that tonight. Thoughts on Canada right now. Well, as you know, I've been a refugee for about 4 months now. I've traveled to Mexico, and now I'm in California. So my thoughts on Canada is I do not accept the tyranny that is going on at all. Unfortunately, with Bill C-10 passed, you can't even speak out against it. It's actually illegal. It's full communism, basically. I am planning on going back to Canada probably soon, within the next month or so. Probably out west for a little while, and then maybe back to Toronto to see some family before continuing the adventure onward to maybe back to Mexico or somewhere in the Caribbean for the winter. Or BC. I love out west. It's beautiful here on the Pacific coast. So yeah, I can't say too much on YouTube. But I will say, I talk about this more in my Telegram group. I will t.me/official Will Nichols, by the way, is my Telegram group. Make sure you join that. And if you want positive affirmations delivered to you for free by text every day, text unfuck your mind to the numbers below on here on YouTube. Text unfuck my mind all one word, to 1-888-912-4811, and you'll get free daily positive programming messages to your phone every single day. Stuff like, just good stuff. Define your dreams and get a burning desire for their achievement. When is the last time you defined your dream in clarity? Like stuff like that, and affirmations and stuff. So if you want free affirmations every single day, text it to you once a day in the morning. And to stay updated, of course, make sure you go text unfuck your mind to 1-888-912-4811. All right? And of course, I have to say this. You can unsubscribe at any time, and carrier fees may apply depending on your local carrier. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on Canada. It's pretty much communism. Canadians, we gotta fight back against this crap. I mean, I left it because I wanted to have freedom. I didn't like being locked down. I didn't like wearing a muzzle, all that crap. I didn't like how pussy a lot of Canadians are. So, came to Mexico, where they're pretty gangster there, and America, we're super gangster. There's a few pansies here in California, but I'm in Orange County right now, and these guys are gangsters here. Are you getting the bear bug preventative injection? I know what you're talking about, and absolutely fuck no. I'm not getting no experimental jab right into the arm. I'm not getting 1 dose. I'm not getting 2 doses. I ain't getting none of that shit because it's not approved. And to force it on people literally breaks the Nuremberg codes. And hopefully this doesn't get flagged. It probably will. But it's literally against human rights to force this to you. If your job's forcing it, it's illegal. If your school's forcing it against you, it's illegal. It's all fucking illegal. And it's not approved. It's untested. Every animal that's been tested by it died. Okay? Humans are dying from this shit. So do not get this no matter what. Fuck that shit. Fuck it. You want to get the flu? Or you want to possibly die, get your heart inflamed like a bunch of children are, lose the skin on your fucking legs, develop autoimmune conditions, and be sterilized. Those are your fucking alternatives. And to be honest, I've never met anybody who got the fucking bear bug and died. Nonetheless, anybody that actually got it, because anybody that says they got it, I'm very, very like, really? Was it just a flu? So, who knows? That's all I'll say on it. So fuck no, I'm not getting that shit. Absolutely not. When you have a multi-billion-dollar marketing campaign, you think that shit's good for you? When you have influencers telling you to fucking get it. When there's fucking filters on Instagram, stickers that say, I got the jab. It's like, fuck no, get the hell out of here. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. How to practice magic without consequences. My friend, all magic has consequences. All manifestation. Natural law. Action, reaction. Everything has action, reaction. There's no such thing as action without reaction. So everything has consequences. But if you want to limit the negative consequences, then you have to have a clear, pure intention. Where you're truly coming from a place of purity. You're truly coming from a place of love and truly wanting the best for all involved. If in any way you want to harm anyone or overtake or overcome or overpower someone, that is a clear tell sign. That is a clear sign that what you're doing is not white magic. You're doing black magic. Gray magic is more or less for selfish, as long as you don't harm anyone. Black magic is selfishness, that you are harming someone. And white magic is zero selfishness. It's just selflessness for the purpose of healing, for the purpose of love, for the purpose of collective ritual, etc. But all magic has consequences, even white magic. So all magic has consequences. And you can't avoid that. It's just about... It all comes down to intention. If you have good intentions and positive intentions and clear intentions where you want the best for everyone involved, then the consequences are minimalized, and the consequences you get are usually positive consequences. If you don't, then there are negative consequences, and yes, there are ways to temporarily avoid it, but long term, no, you're gonna get bit in the ass. Next question: how do I stay centered in my feminine when my male partner is not holding space for me to be feminine? Well, my dear, be feminine. Surrender. The more you surrender and the more you push him into his masculine, the more he will be masculine. And if he doesn't, then he's not the right person for you, right? And you can have open conversations about it, but most guys, if you tell them they're not masculine, they're gonna get a little butthurt. So you have to be very open and open about this, and you have to do it in a way that kind of pushes him to want to be masculine. You have to reward him for when he is masculine and show him that you really appreciate it. You find it sexy when he's masculine, that you love when he's dominant and assertive. You love that, and you have to reward him for that. You can't just act as if that's the normal, right? Because we're brought up in a society that's effeminate, that's trying to feminize us. Okay, so you can't be doing that. You have to reward him for that. And then he'll eventually learn. And he's got to be doing the work. If he's not doing the work to be masculine, be anchored in his masculine, if he's going too far on the feminine side, oftentimes it's because you're trying to take the role of the masculine. And if you become the feminine and you allow yourself to work on that, surrendering, being submissive, etc., which is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of power. If you allow yourself to do that, then he will naturally, if there's still polarity, go into his masculine. You'll bring that out of him. If he doesn't, then the polarity will die, and you won't be attracted to him. So, let's see. I've heard you mention electional astrology. Can you talk more about that? So, electional astrology is when you're it's part of what I do. Upon request for private clients, including setting launch dates for products and services and companies, corporation dates, marriage dates, engagement dates, business stuff, moving dates, release dates, all of that. Electional astrology is essentially electing a desired chart in order to get a desired outcome. So it's about setting the right intention of what it is that you desire to experience from the experience, and then an astrologer works with you to kind of reverse engineer some dates that would be the best optimal experience. If there's a larger time frame, then it's usually easier for the astrologer to pick something that's like right on the money. If there's a shorter time frame where there's more limitations, then it can be a little bit more challenging. But usually you can find a pretty good time frame. And if it's a wide range, then there's a lot that we can do as astrologers to find the ideal date. And what all this does is it sets the intention for the most optimally aligned, cosmically aligned experiences to take place, which it removes most of the resistance. So that's what electional astrology does. It gets pretty complex. I can't lie about that. It gets pretty complex. It can be a little stressful for an astrologer, but it's a lot of fun as well and very rewarding. Let's see. I think I've pretty much answered every question here. There's been a lot of questions. They were great questions, by the way. Everyone's great questions. What's the most effective trauma healing technique you found? So my most effective trauma healing technique that I found is when I started studying Dr. Roger Callahan's work, who created TFT, which is thought field therapy, which works on blowing out the energetic blockages and traumas of the body. And so that's the work that I do when I, on top of a few other things that combine to make my trauma work very, very effective. But they've used this work in the Red Cross, in the Rwandan genocide, like very intense regions where a lot of trauma is happening. And it's been the most effective and the quickest, in my opinion. This is what I practice with my personal coaching clients to help them overcome trauma. This is part of what I teach partially in the Unfuck Your Mind program. And if you work with me one-on-one for trauma work, then this is what we'll go through, and on top of a few other different exercises. But that's been the most effective. I've looked into it a lot, and a lot of things require you to know when the trauma happened, what happened, and know all the details. TFT, don't need to know what happened. That's the best part. It just works directly with the energy body and the mind and the emotional body, and blows out all the trauma and negative thought forms. So, but I think that's quite a wrap tonight. I didn't want it to be too terribly long. I just wanted to have a nice, fun Q&A session. If you really like this, let me know below. Make sure you smash the like button and follow me on all the platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I've been shadow banned off Instagram, so make sure you follow me there. I won't be sharing much until probably midway through this week, since I want to give my account a little reset. But make sure you follow and subscribe to me here on YouTube and on Twitter if you're watching on Twitter, or if you're not. And you can go to iamwillnichols.com to work with me. I've got the Unfuck Your Mind program right now out and open. We're going through week 3 right now. It's done for you at your own pace. So it's for you to learn the tools, how to overcome your emotional baggage, how to develop deep confidence, improve your self-image, and destroy stress and anxiety. So if you are someone who struggles with those things and you want to become better, then DM me help on Instagram for enrollment, or Twitter, into the Unfuck Your Mind program. And you can go to I Am Will Nicholls to book an astrology session with me, to work with me one-on-one. Send me an email or DM me on any of my social platforms. Much love to you all. Thank you for joining me. And as I said, I'll be making some amazing content this coming week. So stay tuned for that. Much love, and we'll talk soon.